Hi, Savannah Johnson, Murphy Group, Carpenter Realtors. I'm here with John Carruthers from Pillar to Post. He's a local inspector, so if you're ever in the market for a home, he'd be a great choice to inspect the home you're interested in buying. But today we're actually going to talk about winterizing your home, so getting prepared for the Indiana frost and snow. John, do you want to say a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, my name is John Carruthers, franchise owner of Pillar to Post Home Inspectors, the John Carruthers team, based in Brownsburg and service all of central Indiana. So we travel here for all your home inspection needs. So yeah, absolutely love to hear from anybody that's looking to buy a home, looking to sell, or has questions about their home.
So we'll talk about everything you need to do to get your home ready and keep it in tip-top condition, keep you from making any unnecessary repairs.
So early fall is a great opportunity to get ahead of things, prevent any potential damages, any service issues that could be more costly and much more challenging as the weather gets colder. So checking out your furnace is hugely important this time. A few quick, easy steps that anybody can really do. And if you're not comfortable with it, there's lots of good heating and air companies around that can provide these services to you and do preventative maintenance. But before we do any disassembly, any work with your heating and air equipment, most furnaces, all gas furnaces, have a service safety switch. You definitely want to turn off before you disassemble anything, because the electricity, the gas, everything's still live inside when you take the cover off, and definitely don't want to cause any self-injury in the process of doing these kind of things. So another good thing to get ahead of this time of year, I'm going to be using our furnaces obviously a lot very soon. Finding out a couple things here, getting ahead of any potential problems can save a lot of time and money and headaches on those cold days. So what I'm going to do is open up the furnace and show you what to expect here. So what we want to look for once you actually take a look in your furnace, check and make sure all of the exhaust piping safe, secure. It's important, obviously don't want to get carbon monoxide poisoning. And this is very simple, just making sure all the screws are in place and everything's tight. The other things to look for is the blower fan. Dust and debris buildup. It's a good time to get this stuff taken care of before it causes any problems. Any scorching on wires, signs of moisture intrusion, things like this. Obviously very minor here, but that's what condensation damage will look like when it's prevalent inside. Another important place to look for that type of damage is around the blower fan. This is where a lot of condensation can happen and can leak into other major components. Any corrosion, rust, lots of buildup, or signs of problems that can be addressed before they become critical failures. Also looking for your furnace filter. In this case, furnace filters are up high. If you haven't replaced them recently, now is obviously a good time to do it. Great example of a clean filter that's ready to go for the winter time. This is a 30-day filter. Most of these are, most houses, most people use these or the 6-month filter. Most heating and air professionals actually recommend the cheaper, simpler filters for better function of your appliances. When we're in the furnace looking at these things, it's also a great opportunity to look for things that aren't necessarily directly related to the furnace itself. But if you see here, we have some normal storage stuff right around the furnace. This case, a piece of remnant carpet. Moving that out of the way, we're seeing a lot of mouse droppings. As the weather gets colder and the seasons change, rodents tend to migrate more to the warm areas and want to enter these types of places. So looking for possible points of intrusion, such as gaps in the floor or the wall. Doesn't take much. Something about the size of a dime is enough for a mouse to get through. It's a great time to get ahead of these things and take care of it before it becomes a bigger problem. While you're doing your furnace maintenance, it's also a great time to get ahead of potential issues with your air conditioners. There's no need to cover them or get too carried away with everything, but we do want to make sure that the dirt and debris are clear. It's a good time to clean the outside of the unit. Look for clogged up coils. If you have a heat pump rather than a traditional furnace, this actually is going to be much more important because your heat pump is going to function in the same way the air conditioner did through the winter months. So keeping dirt and debris clear and looking for signs of damage such as damaged insulation, easy repair, putting new insulation on the Freon line, and looking for open gaps, yet another place where insects, rodents can easily enter the home. Caulking and sealing these gaps is, yet again, just another preventative to keep ahead of things.
Let's talk about how you can make your windows a point where wind's not getting through, or what we should do to winterize.
So as with everything that we're talking about, one of the biggest things is preparing for moisture intrusion. We're going to have a lot of long months with cold weather and moisture that just does not go away for a long time. Checking the caulking all the way around your windows, looking for any broken gaps, signs of deterioration. It's a great opportunity to get ahead of those things to prevent problems. Signs of standing water on any wood, even masonry, windowsills is also important to try to correct those conditions before they become more serious. This is mostly preventative maintenance kind of stuff, very straightforward and easy to do, but the fall is just a great opportunity when you're doing other outside work to stay ahead of these things.
And what about the plastic window coverings that we see a lot of times people are using? Do you recommend that?
So the plastic window coverings is mostly going to be used on an old drafty window that's letting air in some way, either through the seams or through the caulking in the edge, things like that. The thing to be careful about is creating additional opportunities for moisture intrusion, which can rot any wood surface. So staying ahead of those things, it's not ill-advised, but something to definitely keep an eye on. If you starting to see a lot of condensation on the inside of the plastic, then you may be in a situation where the potential for additional problems exists, and you just really want to keep an eye on those things.
Okay, John, what's the number one thing you can do for your door to prepare for the winter?
The easiest things to do are going to be to check weather strips, make sure everything's tight. Really, as far as maintenance goes, no huge detrimental effects on the house, but it is going to keep drafts from coming in and just make sure everything's sealing up tight. The real maintenance issue that we should be concerned about this time of year is checking, especially at the base of the doors, on the door itself and in the frame for any signs of wood rot and damage. Getting ahead of those things early, painting, sealing, caulking, can really slow down the wear and damage and prevent bigger issues from happening.
One of the things to keep in mind for prepping the house for wintertime, it's a good opportunity to take a look at all the windows, especially when you have wooden windows like this one. Opening them up, looking at the frame of the window. These are the areas that are the most susceptible to moisture intrusion. What you want to see is any dark spots, any signs of excessive moisture. This actually looks great. This is what we want to see. No soft spots, no water standing. This area in the sill is also a critical area to look at. It's a good time to get ahead of these things because we're going to have several long months where problems that can be addressed now are cheaper and easier to take care of.
Crawl space vents are probably one of the bigger things that you should do to prepare your house for the cold months. Making sure that they're closed and that any screens are in good condition to prevent, once again, the insect and rodent activity. There's more than one right way to do this. A bunch of different types of crawl space vents that are available on the market. Really, the important thing is that we're sealing everything up and preparing the area for clean and dry conditions over these wet and cold months. One of the most important things for prepping your house for the winter, doesn't matter at all what type of foundation you have, whether you live in a home with a basement, a crawl space, or on a slab, it's getting your outside hose bibs ready for the winter time. This is an area where some of the most frequent problems can happen with freeze-ups. Making sure that your hose bibs are winterized, that the valve on the inside of the home is closed, and any residual water in the spigot is cleared. It's very simple. For the most part, you can close down the valves, open up the outside valve, let everything drip dry, and then close them back down again, or even leave them open. Will do wonders for preventing any expensive and challenging, frustrating freeze-ups during the winter. One of the big, most obvious things to do to prep your house for winter is to get gutters cleaned out, getting leaves and debris. Function of your gutters is obviously improved when the water can flow through properly, but what we really want to prevent is chances of ice damming, where snow and ice compacts and can cause moisture issues underneath the shingles and up against the fascia and soffit of the house. Stains on wall surfaces are a good sign of gutters that aren't functioning properly. In this case, it looks like we have water overflowing at the end of the gutter, either from something being clogging the area or possibly an undersized gutter or downspout. Really, the important thing is to check for the cause to prevent these things. The staining on the side of the building is really inconsequential, but we are concerned about wood rot and deterioration in those corners from excessive standing moisture. And one of the things that we can end up with near the foundation is washout. Areas like this where the soil has been washed away from the foundation surface of the home is an area where standing water can actually end up in the crawl space, causing all kinds of other damage. Checking for any gaps, damage in your exterior walls, brick, checking the mortar joints, siding, looking for loose areas, just another opportunity to do some preventative maintenance in the fall.